Deconstruction Criticism by Mason Richardson. On the agenda, we have the introduction, definition, background, history, type of literary criticism including example, significant marker and primary themes, and later influences. Introduction. Deconstruction is a movement in literary criticism originating from Jacques Derrida. The deconstruction movement started in the 1960s. This influenced many other aspects of academia through its insights from humanities to anthropology and even psychoanalysis. Deconstruction criticism could be defined as a method of reading and intense analysis. It critiques the difference of text and the true meaning. It thoroughly analyzes different viewpoints of a text. And as noted, it suggests nihilism and frivolous skepticism. Alright, some background. The founding father of deconstructive criticism is considered to be French philosopher Jacques Derrida. He was born July 15, 1930, in France. He presented the notion of deconstruction at Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore, Maryland, in 1966. He met a colleague, Paul Deman, who helped him popularize this movement. Here are other literary movements in history. The moral criticism started before Christ at 360. Structural started in the 1920s. Formalism, psychoanalytic, and Marxist criticism all started in the 1930s. Continued historical information. The reader response criticism, feminist criticism, post-structural deconstruction, and those all started in the 1960s. Gender studies, critical race theory started in the 70s. New historical and culture studies started in the 80s, and post-colonial criticism started in the 1990s. Some major aspects of this school of criticism. Deconstruction is not intended to find the one true meaning of a work because there's seldom a universally true meaning. The main question arises when asking where the meaning is located. This brings the question, is it found in the reader, writer, or the text? It's up to the examiner. The closer you look at a text to derive meaning, the less it actually holds water in some cases. An expansion on deconstructive criticism themes. Deconstructive criticism can be paradoxical in a sense, because in a literary work you're going to have multiple viewpoints, and to deconstruct a literary work you're going to have to use your own text when analyzing something, which then in turn could be deconstructed and lose its meaning. Each individual has personal understanding of a particular word, and even when talking about the same word, two people could have two entirely different mental images. Later influences of this movement. In the United States, in the 1970s and 80s, deconstruction played a major role in the animation and transformation of literary studies by literary theory which was concerned with the questions about the nature of language, the production of meaning, and the relationship between literature and the numerous discourses that structure human experience and its histories. More later influences. In various disciplines, deconstruction also aided in exploration of fundamental oppositions and critical terms and re-examinations of ultimate goals. Here's an example of representational works of discussion on deconstruction. Here's discussion of the author's readings, cited in the Yale Critics. And a short interpretation by Jacques himself.
You're very well known in the States for deconstruction. Can you talk a little bit about the origin of that idea?
Avant d'essayer de répondre à cette question, je voudrais faire une remarque préliminaire sur le caractère totalement artificiel de cette situation. Je ne sais pas qui regardera ce que nous sommes en train de filmer ou d'enregistrer, mais je voudrais souligner, au lieu de les effacer, ces conditions techniques. Ne pas feindre la naturalité là où elle n'existe pas. J'ai déjà commencé à répondre à votre question sur la déconstruction, parce qu'un des gestes de la déconstruction consiste en particulier à ne pas naturaliser, à ne pas faire comme si ce qui n'est pas naturel était naturel, comme si ce qui est conditionné par l'histoire, par la technique, par l'institution, par la société, était une donnée naturelle.
The very condition of a deconstruction may be at work in the work, within the system to be deconstructed. It may already be located there, already at work. Not at the center, but in an eccentric center, in a corner whose eccentricity assures the solid concentration of the system, participating in the construction of what it, at the same time, threatens to deconstruct. One might then be inclined to reach this conclusion. Deconstruction is not an operation that supervenes afterwards, from the outside, one fine day. It is always already at work in the work. Since the disruptive force of deconstruction is always already contained within the very architecture of the work, all one would finally have to do to be able to deconstruct, given this always already, is to do memory work. Yet since I want neither to accept or to reject the conclusion formulated in precisely these terms, let us leave this question suspended for the moment.
And here we have the works cited for the presentation.